you were in your 20s, and I think I mentioned before we're coming to this call that you tried Body for Life. And that was a classic program. I mean, I even tried Body for Life. It was great. So you were going through this stuff, and then lead us through, because I know you're an athlete as well, and you ended up going to pursue some triathlons and stuff like that. How did you get into that kind of training?
So, in that program, Body for Life, it did have a pretty good balanced nutrition plan, and as far as sets for lifting weights, and then some balancing cardio in. And so for my cardio, I started running, uh,
Hmm.
whether it was on the treadmill or whether it was on side. Mostly it was on the treadmill at the time. And my wife and I got married in my 20s, and her and I did a 5K at a local park, and wow, that competitiveness, the race, just really just got me focused on more on cardio, so to speak, and I would have to say that I probably started being led more towards the cardio workouts,
Hmm.
the running, a little bit of biking, and that kind of thing. And we did a few more races just to have some fun, and I was, I picked up some new friends running where I used to live, and and ended up getting into, as we were talking earlier about how I started pursuing that sport of the triathlon, is I was dared by a friend to do that. Never had any swimming background whatsoever, and did a triathlon. I borrowed my father-in-law's bike, and had a great time. It was really cool to do three things in one. Uh, Got to meet there's some really awesome people that participate in those races. Always meet really great people doing that, and I kind of took it from there. And again, that led to some other things, which I think you were going to ask me about, as far as my coaching and things that I do as part of my career.
Yeah, definitely. But what I specifically want to know about is, you had this trajectory. You're a big, heavy high school football player, eating the pizzas, slinging the weights. Then you realize with your family that you need to make some changes because you see the trajectory that your sister is going, your dad's going, some diabetes, and you're cleaning things up. You get interested in triathlons, and eventually, I'll reveal the punchline for you here is you crushed an Ironman under 12 hours. I mean, which is like the pinnacle of this. But what I'm fascinated about is I think this is a story of a lot of guys where they excel at a certain period of their life. They maybe reach this pinnacle, but it sounds like from that point that you kind of went a little bit of on a downslide. And after doing that, your health kind of started going downwards. I want to talk about that, and specifically where you ended up last year during COVID lockdowns. Where did you found yourself there? And then we'll kind of begin to get into your Fit Father journey and how things started to change for you.
So I think with the racing and doing 5K road races, half marathons, eventually triathlons, and doing that, it became a passion of mine, a hobby, where I was, I had a set training regimen that I was doing. There would be certain mornings I would get up at 5:30, be in the pool and swim a couple thousand yards. There would be other mornings where I would go run. And then, I would work in different bike sessions, whether it would be on my trainer or riding out on the road. So I really had a plan, and I was signing up for races. A lot of people, when they sign up for a race, they get motivated to train. I think my motivation for those races was I saw some success early on. I saw, because that I was um, got a little bit of better control of my nutrition, started doing some weights and cardio, that I was losing weight. I was getting healthier at the time, and the results were showing in these races, and it led me to be a little bit more competitive.
Mhm.
I was ultra competitive. Wanted to finish in my age group, high in my age group, and do things like that. And so as I was progressing, I was kind of like, okay, I did a 5K. Let's go for a half marathon. Trained for that, completed that. Okay, maybe I can do a marathon now. Same thing with the triathlons. The first one, like I mentioned earlier, was a pool swim. then went to an open water swim, which I got swam over the first race I did. And then started racing in a series in our state of North Carolina. Participated in several races, whether it was a sprint distance, whether it was an international distance, and ultimately went to the half iron distance. Competed that, completed that, I should say, and started thinking about training for the ultimate, which was the Ironman. And so, Dr. A, I felt like I was sort of chasing the rabbit,
Mm-hmm.
so to speak, and it's kind of like um, the bucket list race when you're okay. I did this distance, and want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got to when I completed that Ironman up in Maryland back in 2014, I had reached my pinnacle. I had trained probably 6 months solid for that race, and I was burning insane amount of calories training for that. And after that, I felt like, okay, what's next? I did all this training, I did the ultimate, and I really lost my motivation to get up in the mornings to go swim or to go train. And what I found was, and part of what the Fit Father Project has done for me, and I'll talk about that later, is that my focus, my drive was that next best thing or that next big challenge versus my health, who I was, who I was, who was setting myself up for, making myself better for my family, my
Mm-hmm.
coworkers, people that I work, people that I influence. I had lost focus of that, and I was chasing the rabbit, so to speak, instead of why am I really doing this? And it's not because it was because I wanted to be competitive and do well. I lost focus of the benefits that these things could do for me and how they make me have a overall better life.